In this video, I'm not going to talk about a gaming project or a traditional utility project. I'm going to talk about a community-based profile pic collection project called Meta Angels. So this right here is Meta Angels. I essentially picked up 4 of them around a week ago, around the 0.3 Ethereum mark. I think right now on OpenSea, they're trading for roughly 0.65. So let me actually just take a look. Okay, so the current floor price on OpenSea is 0.579, which in my opinion is a great entry point for this project. But let's talk about this project and why I'm so psyched about them. So in this video, what I'm going to focus on is telling you why I'm extremely bullish on this project and why I think these guys have a really strong shot of becoming a blue chip or one of the top 5 to 10 projects in the profile pic NFT space. So Meta Angels is an Ethereum project. Essentially what it is it's an NFT membership community, right? So this is the art. The art is pretty freaking incredible. It's very unique, right? So I haven't seen art like this done before, which I like. It's not like a copycat kind of style, right? So the art is very strong, and really the theme of this project is essentially with these angels, they signify generosity, compassion, etc. So the focus of this community is to really help each other out. There's a focus on generosity, there's a focus on transparency, and there's focus on accessibility, right? So they have these core values and they go in depth on these core values. The size of the NFT collection is 10,000, by the way. Now, what they really want to focus on is actually building a community that has a real life impact on its members. So it's not just focused on, hey, we're gonna have this cool Discord. It's also focused on actually people helping each other out in real life. So with the Meta Angels, they're not just focused on building a metaverse community, but they're actually focused on building a real life community. So they really want to build a community that has a lot of real life utility. So for example, one way could be if you're looking for a job, this is a community where you could get a lot of help from. Now, before we talk about how they're going to build this community with real life utility, let's talk about the team and why I'm so bullish on this project. So if you guys have seen my videos, I'm a big believer on betting on teams, right? If a team is fully doxed, I'm much more likely to back them up. I really do believe that betting on the right team is a much better idea than betting on the artwork or even the utility of a project, right? So in this case, the team is incredibly strong. So let's first talk about the artist Sarana. Okay, so the artist behind this project is Sarana, and she's a Maori Australian artist, and she is incredible at what she does, right? Like, you can see her work, and this is why Meta Angels has such an incredible art style, because they have an amazing artist. Now, in terms of the actual team, so we have Alex here, Alexandra Kavilakos. I probably butchered the name. And she actually built a product called the Muse that had over 70 million users a year, which is pretty incredible, right? And then she was there for 10 years. Being at a company for 10 years is massive. I can tell you, I ran a marketing agency for 4 or 5 years. It's a lot of time. You gain a lot of experience actually building and managing people, hiring. And what I did was 1/100th or 1,000th of what she did, right? Because obviously she built like a proper team and so on. Not only that, but she's also basically wrote a best-selling book, and she's also on the board of directors of a nonprofit. So she's a badass, right? This is an entrepreneur. This is somebody with execution experience. You look at her LinkedIn, it's just, yeah, it's clear that she knows what she's doing. Now, the other co-founder, Allison, is somebody who founded VSpring. So this was Techstars company in New York City. So it's like basically incubator, Techstars. And she also started this company, which is called Stellar Reviews. So basically what Stellar Reviews is, it's kind of a company that it seems like what they do is they match brands with basically groups of users that provide feedback and reviews and so on. And essentially it seems like a mix of influencer marketing as well as product feedback. But yeah, this checks out. This is a legitimate company. You know, it has multiple team members. She's also written a couple of books, and she's also worked at Techstars as a mentor, right? So she's also a board member of 2 other companies. again, another founder and entrepreneur with a lot of experience. Now, let's talk about two other core members of the team, right? So Gabriel here, he built this company that's called BlendSpace. So it's an ed tech web tool, and it was acquired and sold to Test Global. So he's essentially their software engineer, right? So he's their tech guy. He's the guy who's making sure that this whole, kind of technical side of everything works well. Now, after he did that, right, he basically currently works in engineering leadership. So what does that mean? Engineering leadership means leading engineering teams, right? Software engineering teams. So that's incredibly difficult because not only is he a high-level software engineer and an entrepreneur, but he's also grown teams of software engineers from 2 to 100. And software engineers, managing them is probably not the easiest thing, right? Like it requires a lot of people skills to do that. So again, another all-star person who is clearly somebody who can execute. Now Max here, he seems like the youngest member of the group. So he's been working at Allison's company, Stellar, and essentially he graduated college pretty recently, and he started basically interacting in the NFT space in January 2021, which is over a year ago. And to be honest, January 2021 means that this guy is an experienced NFT warrior, right? Like he's really been in the space for a long period of time when you consider that most of us weren't in the space like 8 months ago, right? Like this space has grown so fast. So what I imagine happened is Max probably worked with Allison and, probably told her about all the NFT stuff and infected her with his kind of NFT interest, right? And then I imagine they took a look at this community and the NFT applications, and they were interested in basically figuring out how to actually use this NFT technology for, basically building new communities, building new use cases, right? So I feel like with a lot of these, like Web 2 people who are really, really getting into NFTs right now, there's probably some young person or some crazy guy who just went all in on NFTs that they know that kind of is bringing them in. So I have a feeling that's kind of his role. This guy's the NFT native here, so that's probably his role in this whole thing. Now, let's talk about their advisors side, right? So Ben and Mai, they're the co-founders of Curious Addies Trading Club. So this is the NFT collection. They're essentially trying to make Duolingo for crypto, so an educational resource to help make learning crypto easier. They're both really, really well accomplished. Mai works at a billion-dollar Silicon Valley startup, and she's the VP of marketing at Logbar. And then Ben is a Harvard dropout and was a Thiel Fellow along with Vitalik. So he's obviously somebody who knows what he's doing. He's launched a project in the crypto space before this, which was called Stream. So, these guys are experienced advisors, right? And then the other advisor they have is Meredith. So she's an early stage investor and social entrepreneur. So she works with a lot of companies that are working on issues like global health, climate change, and justice. And if you look at her LinkedIn, if you look at her bio, she's done a lot of really, really interesting things. And I think what she's helping them do is figure out how they can use this project for good, right? So that's a team. And again, the reason I cover the team in depth is because I bet on teams. That's my philosophy for the space, right? I'm not looking, I do look at the utility, I do look at the art, but honestly, the biggest thing for me is if you look over the next 2 or 3 years, the projects that are going to 100x and succeed are the ones led by teams that can execute really well. Now let's talk about how they're basically building this community that's focused on generosity, transparency, and making it accessible, right? So the first thing with generosity is they have this tool called the wishing well. So it's a Discord kind of area in their Discord. So I'll actually, let me show you. If you look inside their Discord, and this is the holders Discord, I hope they don't mind sharing it, but I just want to show you how this works. So essentially what the wishing well is you can post a wish. So if you need help with something, the community can help out, or you can also grant a wish and you can help people out. So this is where, you can basically look at, and I like how they have browse wishes first because it kind of encourages people to offer value first. But for example, this guy, he's looking for help with, getting into jobs in computer information systems and finance. And then, he's essentially looking for advice on that, right? And then this person's looking to build a Web3 company using the podcast company he already has. And, he's looking for people in that space who could help out with financial and planning advice. So if you look at that, you can go in there and you can respond by clicking there and respond to that person. And then you can also make a wish. So you can write in here and you're basically able to respond to those threads. So I actually responded to Glory over here, who was looking for some help on how to break into marketing and community in the Web3 space. And I just told her, hey, this is how you can do it. This is my strategy, etc. And you can also make an offer, which is actually offer to help people out with things. So you could say, hey, I specialize in this and I can basically help out in this manner, right? So I really like the wishing well idea because I do think it encourages generosity. It also encourages people to really share and be open about who they are. And I feel like this creates so many networking opportunities versus the traditional Discord channels where there's not that much going on in terms of networking and people meeting each other and helping each other. Now, the other piece of how they do this is their moderation. So they have these moderators called catalysts who will follow conversations within the Discord, and they'll selectively tag community members that have that expertise, right? So they're gonna actually try and find the community member that has that expertise to help out that particular person. So that's a really cool way to do things. Now let's talk about transparency, right? So obviously their team is fully doxed, as we've shown. Now they also want to build something where there's a whole new kind of layer of meta angels that gets unlocked if you're willing to dox yourself to their community mods or their admins, right? So basically, if you show that, hey, this is who I am, to their community mods and admins, you get basically access to more Discord channels, you get the open book role in Discord, and essentially this encourages people to be more transparent and actually kind of focus on connecting in real life. So obviously in the NFT community, it's basically, I guess anonymity is a huge thing, but I do think this is a step in the right direction. I think people who want to stay anonymous should stay anonymous, but I think those of us who actually want to meet other people, this is a good opportunity because this kind of encourages more open sharing. So that's something, again, I haven't seen any other project do. The third piece is accessibility, right? So this is, again, something where one of their core tenets is they want to make sure that they're inclusive and people have access to this project even if they don't have a lot of money to buy an NFT. So with the current floor price of 0.57 ETH, it's still expensive but relatively accessible. But who knows where this project could go, right? Like me personally, I think that multi 2, 3, 4, 5 ETH floor is completely doable in the next couple of months. So that kind of prices most people out. So the way they've kind of come about solving this issue, right? How do you make sure this is something that can benefit people even if they don't have the financial resources, is you can extend access to this community by lending out your NFT. And so this is a smart lending mechanism where you can essentially, let's say somebody who could benefit from this community. They're perhaps somebody who's just starting out and they really want to be able to access some of the information and the kind of the network in there. You can lend them your NFT, and this becomes more of like a mentoring thing, right? So you can have a mentee that you bring in if you have multiple NFTs and say, hey, I want to get you access to this community. I think you're worth it. I think you deserve to have access to this. So I think this will be really cool because it will give people who are, let's say maybe starting out in the space, but they have the hunger, they have the desire to learn. It gives them access to this network, and I can immediately think of people like that who perhaps want to get in the space, but they don't have, 0.6 Ethereum just sitting around to throw into this, right? So that's another cool part of this. Now let's talk about another piece of this project that I absolutely love. It's how their Discord is set up, right? So one of the cool things about their Discord is they've set it up in a way that encourages people to network and meet each other. So you can actually choose these collectives that you can be a part of. So I chose the NFT builders and launchers and tech and startups. So this is a channel where people are just talking about how to, basically build NFT projects and essentially be able to kind of launch their own project. This over here is focused on tech and startups, and essentially this is kind of like people talking about the whole, like, how do you, let's say you work in the tech industry, let's say you're doing a startup. So this again allows you to connect with people in a way that other Discords don't, right? I'm in a ton of Discords, right? I have some of these top tier NFTs, and honestly, they're not really set up in a way where it encourages people to connect with each other, right? Most of them don't have these mechanisms. While with Meta Angels, people are in here because they want to connect, they're open to connecting. And I do think as time goes on, the crowd in there is going to be very high quality, because with something like this, as the price goes higher, the people who are not really, they don't believe in the project and they don't believe in what the project is doing, they will sell, right? And the new buyers will come in who believe in this project, and then the people who do believe in it, they'll keep holding. So I do think this is going to result in a higher quality community, and the level of discussion on this community is just much higher than most other communities, right? Because it is a higher, basically for the floor price they're at, the level of discussion is just so good, right? Because usually, if you look at Discords, right, I'd say something like the Doodles Discord has a very high level of discussion, because the people who are in there, they've been hand selected by the market, right? Like, they're the people who either believe in the project and have held since very early on, or they're people who have basically bought in at a much higher price point and are thus much likelier to be kind of like very savvy people. While if you look at a discussion for like a 0.05 or 0.010 ETH project, a lot of times it's just people trying to get rich or people trying to flip, and it's not really the same, right? So that's why I like this project, because they don't really have that kind of floor price obsessive nature to it. It's really a high quality community, and flippers aren't attracted to this that much, because this isn't really a project that's meant for flipping, right? It just doesn't have that kind of like hype behind it. So the discussion level is really high, and it just, with this, the way it's set up, I truly do think I'll meet some interesting people in this Discord. I think I'll have some in real life utility. I'm working on my own NFT project right now, so this will be a great community to be part of, to just meet other NFT creators and maybe even meet up in real life. So yeah, guys, that's why I'm so bullish on this project. I really do think they'll do well. And I'll be honest, I have a friend who owns a Bored Ape Yacht Club. He showed me inside their Discord, and I wasn't that impressed. There wasn't this level of intelligence and structure behind it to create those connections, right? Because you buy these top tier NFTs to get into the community, but if it's not structured the same way, if the community is not being encouraged to interact, you're not going to meet people that easily. It's going to be really tough. And that's really where I see the potential for Meta Angels. They could be the top tier NFT community, and I do think the current floor price is so low. Some of my favorite NFT influencers absolutely love this project. I think Zeneca33, he has 100 of them, like I believe certain amount for himself, certain amount for Zen Academy. But when he has 100 of an NFT project, I really am interested in that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna definitely try picking up more as long as I keep getting more ETH, and go check this project out. If you guys like this video, I would appreciate a subscribe, a like, and a comment. Let me know what project you'd like me to cover next. I make these videos for fun. I'm not really doing this for money or profit, etc. That's why I'm just covering the projects I like. So that's why the projects are a bit over the place, where I might cover gaming projects, I might cover Ethereum NFT projects, I might go on a completely different chain. So I'm just covering stuff that I find interesting. But let me know what other videos you'd like me to make, whether it be projects I cover or whether it be just maybe me talking about how I evaluate projects. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.